Hey everybody, it's me, Ashley Brooke. I was on earlier and I was sharing with you guys that I'm going to discuss my concerns with ABA to the ABA therapist and see how she responds to me asking what is the reason behind the do this, or they make them do things but they don't verbally tell them what it is that they want them to do or why. In my opinion, I was sharing that I believe that it's very confusing for an autistic child because we're so literal. When I asked her, she didn't really have an answer. She's like, oh well, she tried to say that it was because at first she said it's because we don't want to give them an option to say no, so that's why we tell them do this. And I said, well, you can easily do that, not give them an option by just telling them if you wanted them to pick up the earlier she had a little ring set, a little ring stacker. She's like that, and I told her you could easily have said, pick up the ring stacker, drop it, pick it up, drop it. And and she said hi. From me, thank you. Do I look sexy? No. She said no. Only you? That's the old one. You have a new one. Don't worry. You have glasses that are the same kind, but they're not broken. Anyways, she didn't have an answer really. I said you can easily do it that way. And she's like, oh yeah, oh well, you're right. I don't really know why we say it like that. I said it can be kind of confusing. Also, you're not teaching them to problem solve. You're teaching them just to obey, and because we're so literal, we're going to carry that out in another scenario. When we come into a situation and someone tells us to do something, we're just going to do it because we were trained to. We were told, that's how you respond to someone doing that, asking you, telling you to do something. You do it. She's like, oh, well, I kind of I said it real nicely. I was like, I'm asking you because you're, I know that you don't get bothered. You wouldn't get bothered if I asked you these kind of questions because you actually care. You have family that are autistic. And she had shared that with me before. And then she's like, oh yeah, no, I wouldn't. And then I said I think it would be more beneficial if you told her why you're doing it, or if you wanted to share a toy. If you want her to share the toys to say, please, I want to play with one too. I want to have fun too. I said that'll help her, problem solve and learn empathy and share at the same time without the negative stimulation of someone forcing him to do something and not understanding why. That can cause a lot of frustration. And so she kind of backed out of the conversation. You can tell she didn't really know how to respond to it, but I didn't want to push her because I don't want to be mean. And I didn't want to, I did record a video, but I'm not going to show it because I also thought about it, and I thought I'd be kind of very insensitive to post her, not being efficient at the, her skill, that's supposed to be her, supposed to be an expert, and I didn't want to, if someone saw that video, her boss or her family, it can be embarrassing for her, it can be, I just thought that would be a really low class, it would be such a neurotypical thing to do. So I decided not to do it. Oh, I didn't even hear her doing that. Come here. Hi. Oh my gosh, you could have had a Moxie. What? Moxie has a hat? Oh, you're afraid of the light. Yeah, well, just put it here. Like that. I see that Moxie has a hat on. You want it to move? Huh. There you go. Like that? Like that? Okay, cool. Right? It's spinning. Yeah, spinning. Yeah, so the rest of the session, she just sort of changed her style. She didn't say it that much. No, not even that much. She didn't say it at all. She had stopped saying it. She did do some other things that were a little different, but I kind of like said it in a way that that I thought it was right. I didn't want to go and correct that too, so instead I just decided to play the role of the like interfering parent. She kind of caught on to what I was saying, and yeah, it was really, I was like kind of like, oh, you don't even know how to answer the question, so I'm right. And I'm starting to think by the way she responded, it was like, I mean, not starting to think, I already knew, but it's like I was starting to think more like I was saying before, like, is it, that's wrong, but maybe, typicals are the ones that designed to practice them because, they're not autistic, they don't understand it all, and it's correct because they are not I will, educated or analytical thinking, you like see it on a, on a, wider scale. So, yeah, the fact that she couldn't answer it and that her answers didn't make sense when she did try, I was like, yeah, I was right. This is not correct because you can't explain to me why. Yeah. So everybody, don't feel afraid or like don't embarrass the therapist. I think it's your job as a parent too. When you see something that's kind of like, oh, like I wouldn't do that. It's not always like, oh, they're that's their job title. They know what they're doing. That's not the case. I've been to doctor's appointments before, and I have to tell them what my diagnosis before. And I'm not even talking about my autism. I'm talking about like I had issues when I was pregnant with my son Ozzy. I had cholestasis. I told him all the symptoms, and it was a OBGYN, and and OBGYN, and I looked at the symptoms myself, like researching, like, hey, like that, I have cholestasis, and then I told her to do this, and she's like, I don't know, what is that? And I was like, what? This is what people get when they're pregnant. How do you not know what that is? That's lovely. So when you guys go to a doctor or psychiatrist, therapist, don't just assume that they know all the answers or that you're wrong and they're right. Be careful. A lot of people fake the people even get degrees online. So, and some people are just, who knows, one of them turned into an alcoholic and just, just doesn't care. What they're saying, you move them at the moment. So that's just that's me reporting back what happened in therapy with my daughter with the ABA. So now that I already introduced the fact, now she's aware that I'm, and observing her while she does therapy, and now I'm, suggesting correction, to correct certain things. We'll see the response because she couldn't answer it. I know so doesn't respond with making some corrections or therapy, or at least my then we will know that this is just a typical way of just having to be right, too prideful. I know they want their feeling importance, but not her case. But I'm sorry, I'm stuck on it because now that I see how the therapist responded to it, I'm just like, oh my god, you're doing child that can make her, just aggressive, confused, misunderstood, frustrated, all while she's three overloads. What's like, oh well, it's not like, just a little thing. Not really. Not when you're autistic and other things, and it can complicate everything else. It can, her mood, and like, she can become aggressive, or you don't know, depressed. We already talked about how the highest rate of suicide is autistics. So yeah, something to think about. Anyways, I gotta go take care of my babies now. I just wanted to come in because I check in with you guys because I said that I would. Also, everybody subscribe. Also, I created a Facebook support group. It's called Autistic Army. If you guys can look it up and follow. I'm not sure yet what direction I'm going in. I do feel like a heavy nudge. You guys, I don't know who is, believes in God or not, but I do, and I just feel like it's the right thing to do. Something has to be done. There's enough concern, with what's happening, what I'm seeing, that I know that something needs to be done. I don't want to be all like, irrational or emotional and be like, oh, I'm gonna go and fight with a therapist, or I'm gonna go march up right now into the state. I'm just gathering a group of everybody that knows what I'm talking about, maybe experiencing it too. So when I get enough information, we'll see the appropriate way to handle it. But it's gonna get handled, because I don't like the way either they're gonna come to an understand that it's incorrect, and then it's affecting people's lives. This whole way that society and the government approaches us and our differences. I just don't think that we should be made to be like a neurotypical. We're not like a neurotypical. Our brains are not like a neurotypicals, and there's nothing wrong with differences. There's different races everywhere now. Gay